Mm-hmm.
So now this is where we differ. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth, we're gonna go 1, 4, 7.
Yeah.
Because it's just like
so you get the top, middle, and bottom.
And the bottom
at least a few, because we will talk about all of them if we can.
But we don't want to be like super long for all of it.
So we obviously went into detail with Naruto because it's my number 1 and his number 3.
Yeah, because my number 1, I can talk for ages. But so
go ahead.
Number 4 for me.
You're not gonna do your number 1 right now?
No, number 1 is gonna take the place of Naruto. My number 1 will be like one of the last columns.
Okay.
Because that one I'm gonna ramble on it.
Okay.
But number 4 on my list is Fate Unlimited Blades Work. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blades Work.
That's a good one.
It is such a good one. I want to rewatch Fate because when I first watched it,
Fate made me realize that fight scenes didn't have to be based in Japanese culture.
Mm-hmm. All this mythology, like even like Fate Zero. The reason why Unlimited Blades Work hits more from Zero is 1, I watched it first. 2, it resonates a little bit more than me, and I remember it just a little bit more. And that's why I totally wasn't obsessed with Tosaka, that character. I had one of the biggest crushes on the tsundere when I was younger. But the biggest thing that stands out with Fate, how you were saying, like the amazing fights, it was the first anime that introduced weight to me.
I was just gonna say, like that's what you had explained to me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
When I showed you God of High School.
Yes.
And you're like, it's a good fight scene, but there's no weight. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then you showed me like there's a difference, and I was like, oh, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Like when you fight, I mean, I've gotten in fights. A lot of them when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the weight of the punches, right? You feel the weight of the kicks. You feel the weight of someone slamming you down, right?
Yep.
Especially if you're doing it like competitive, like martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like fast movements and it's like slapping around. Yeah.
It's not Wing Chun.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Wing Chun's also good.
Wing Chun is also, it's pretty cool. Jet Li does Ip Man, right?
No.
Who does Ip Man?
Danny Lee.
Danny Lee, sorry, not Jet Li.
Yeah.
Danny Lee. So like the Ip Man, they're like, it's amazing, like seeing all the very fast choreography. But the thing is, speed with no weight is what
Doesn't do it for you.
Just so it's just like I want something that you actually are like.
It's like a butterfly.
Yeah, you want to be like, oh, I felt like, damn, my shit just got rocked after getting hit in the liver. Like Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah.
That is another one that does weight so well, especially even in the manga.
Yeah.
Baki
does weight really good too.
Baki.
Yeah.
So when I see Fate Unlimited Blades Work, it is just a really cool story in my opinion because
it is a very good story.
I like mythology. I love all these like different larger than life characters. As you see it with Saber, you see it with Berserk, you see it with Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a pretty cool villain, especially like. Here's the thing: whenever you watch Fate, everybody knows. If you watch Fate Zero, it spoils Unlimited Blades Work. If you watch Unlimited Blades Work, it spoils Zero.
Yeah, because they're not linear. They bounce around, right?
So it's Fate Zero first, technically on the timeline, and then Unlimited Blades Work. But the thing is,
which is the one with where Hercules is a berserker?
That is Unlimited Blades Work.
Okay, that's the one where King Arthur is fighting him at night, right? In the like a
cemetery.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the first encounters that Shiro has.
Okay.
Yes, because I remember I think the berserker in Fate Zero. Oh, I can't remember the berserker in Fate Zero because I remember Alexander the Great is the writer.
Okay.
But if that is Alexander the Great, he's one of the writers. But anyways, so when you have the fights, it's amazing. Then you have Gilgamesh as such an amazing villain too. Mm-hmm. Like Gilgamesh versus Berserker Hercules, one of the best fights, and how it ends with I forget the name of the little girl with white hair that's technically Shiro's sister. I forget her name. But just seeing what happens to her and how brutal it was, that was one of the first I was like, holy crap, okay, anime will go brutal. It will go hard. It will like rock you to some degree. Because like before that, I'm like, oh, I watched Naruto. Is there really any brutality in Naruto? No. Not that I can think of.
No, I mean, well, because you have to think of the times too when they were developed. Like things were like ratings and like getting like approved for television was much more strict back when Naruto was being made. The fact that they even showed like when they went to the Mist village and they had to kill the Zabuza. I was like, they killed somebody.
Oh my gosh,
he's dead. I was like, dude. So with that being said, obviously, Unlimited Blade Works is much newer of an anime, right?
Yeah, because when did Unlimited Blade Works come
out?
So
the level of acceptability had
differed a lot.
Yeah.
Did you think Haku was a boy or a girl the first time you saw Haku?
Haku.
It's Zabuza's partner.
Oh, girl.
Yeah,
I thought it was yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, "It's a boy," and we're all just like, "Huh?" It's like everybody's first introductions are just traps.
Whoever says that they thought Frieza was a boy when they first saw him,
I don't know what I thought when I first saw Frieza.
I thought Frieza was a girl.
I just saw Frieza
because it looks like he's wearing lipstick. So I was like, "That's a girl, a bald girl." That's literally what I thought. I mean, come on, dude. I was 5th grade. I was like, "Sounds like a girl. Has girl eyes."
It must be.
Must be a girl.
Yeah. But so back to Fate. So the story that it had and it presented, and the animation quality as well, it was just something that was blown out of the water when most of the things I saw.
Yeah, like I said, I think Naruto started it and set a standard, and then Unlimited Blade Works just it made it to where people are sitting there going, if the next anime I watch doesn't look like this, I'm not watching it. That's what Unlimited Blade Works did. Because I can't think of any, well, especially with fight choreography, I can't think of the sound effects, dude. So like Naruto had some good stuff.
Yep.
But the sound engineering and the sound design behind Unlimited Blade Works, because coming from a production background, I'm like, dude, this sounds like a movie.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, this was during the time when I wasn't really analytical of animes.
Yeah.
It was more just like, oh my gosh, I think it's amazing. I watch it. The rule of cool is what applied.
Oh yeah, still does.
Oh, for sure. But looking back at it now and wanting to rewatch it,
yeah,
it's just it's such a good story, such good stakes. Saber as a tragic hero as well. Yeah. That works. Shiro eventually, his whole arc throughout that whole series and coming to understand what it is that he wants to be.
Yeah, and the way that they set up I don't know what it's called in the industry, but I call them rules. The rules of the world, right?
Yeah.
Naruto has rules. You can't beat every single chakra element, right? Yep. That's a rule. Dragon Ball Z has, you have transformations, but if you're a Saiyan, you can't transform like Piccolo. Piccolo can become a Super Namek or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So those are the rules of the world that's what I'm talking about. So in Unlimited Blade Works, where they had the whole I don't know if it was the Catholic Church involvement in it, summoning warriors to fight on their behalf.
Yeah.
So you have these world superpowers that know that this happens, and they use it to their advantage to gain and control, centuries worth of power and influence in the world, right? And then you have it where it's okay, only these entities know what's really going on.
Yep.
Right?
And then
and it's this is really interesting because it makes you wonder wonder if stuff like this can actually happen. You said, there's enough realism to be I wonder if.
Yep.
But okay, that's pretty far fetched. It's both. Yeah.
And then I find it funny with Tosaka when she's trying to summon Saber because it's okay, the Saber class is the strongest because I think this is the 4th Holy Grail War.
Yeah.
We'll fact check that. And you just see her being okay, I'll summon at midnight at this time with these crystals to try to get Saber, and then she gets Archer, and then we figure out who Archer is, because the thing is, each for people who haven't watched Fate, there are 7 classes, if I remember correctly. There's the Berserker, there's the Archer, the Rider, the Phantom. I know there's a Saber class, and then the Assassin.
Isn't there a Sorcerer too?
Sorcerer, yeah.
Yeah, there's one I know in Unlimited Blade Works, I hated that character because it was the one that was taking children.
Right. Oh, that was Zero. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one in Unlimited Blade Works, she had this her sacred treasure. So sacred treasure is the thing that reveals what their mythology is.
Yeah.
So the thing is, their whole thing is keeping.
Dude, the way it sounds so complex. It's when I'm hearing you talking, dude, someone's gonna be I'm not watching this.
Please do watch it.
Do watch it.
If you want to find out about the timeline, here you go. You're not.
Yeah.
If you want to have a snippet of it, Giga did this whole video. He's this AnyTuber. He did here's the whole timeline of Fate. Funny video, love it. I'll throw a link down in the description. If you want to understand the timeline, check it out. but then how it's like hiding who their actual people are in history so that they can keep their advantage compared to others so that they don't lose.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, they're all dead.
It's almost like they animated a board game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you have Apocrypha where it's like 7v7.
Yeah.
But back to Limited Blades work.
Yeah.
So that's what had me fall in love with it. It was amazing choreography.
It's actually a really good one to have on the list. I didn't even think about it. I would argue, I'll say which one I might replace it with. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is I don't love it enough to be in my top 9. Because I think of how much does it resonate with me too. But it is definitely on my like top 3 to be like recommended that are not on my top 9. But Limited Blade Works is really good.
You were like, watch it. Yeah. So fight, story, stakes, brutality. It was something different than what I knew from anime at that time. Death. Yeah. So it was just like, going from Pokemon, Beyblade, like Naruto, which dabbled.
Well, you watched Berserk, didn't you?
Right. Okay. So quick little story. Apparently, when I was younger, I want to say I was maybe like 4 or 5. There was one day I was super sick when from school, and my uncle, he was like, "Okay, I'll take care of you," and he didn't have work that day. He's like, "All right, let's watch some anime." And it's like, okay. And again, I don't remember this, but he remembers bringing it clear as day because I was talking about this podcast. Yeah. He's like, "Do you remember that day where we just went into my room, popped in just the Berserk VHS and watched maybe like 8 or 9 episodes?" I'm like, I remember like being like sitting down and we were watching TV, but I don't remember what we were watching because I remember like I wasn't allowed into like that part of the house because it was just like, no, that is your uncle's area. Like, let him be, let him rest, because like he was always at work or he's super tired. It's like, just leave it. So him like being like, oh yeah, dude, let's just watch some anime. I was like, hell yeah. So as you can see, I had very sophisticated tastes as a child. So it's just like the rest of this list is going downhill. I started off at like what people consider one of the upper echelons of anime, and I'm just like, what do you have on this list? SAO or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but like it's funny, like we always get introduced with like some like high, like I got introduced with some really high level anime, but then when I actually got like, well, I think the last episode you explained like my first encounter with anime, right, with Goku.
Yeah.
So that's what introduced me to it. But when I actually sat down and watched it, it was like, and I realized, oh, this is anime. Mm-hmm. It took forever for Toonami to get the episodes out, right?
Oh yeah.
So I watched like Spirited Away, right? I'm like, wow. Then I watched Howl's Moving Castle. Whoa. Then I watched what was another like Emmy award winning like thing, dude. Like
Princess Mononoke?
No, I didn't watch that one. The original now. I watched the new one, the remake.
Totoro?
Yes. Yeah. Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Right. Which is now like Go Studio. Mm-hmm. Right. What else did I watch, dude? That was like so. Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho. Right. It's like so everyone's like, oh, Yu Yu Hakusho. like that is like that they introduced the concept of like spirit energy. Mm-hmm. You know. Well, there's with spirit energy, but that's, you know, ki or chi, right? That, and then Naruto used, you know, chakra and all that right after that. They all build on each other, which is a good thing, but the thing is they're also all original content too, which is what I love. But yeah, so yours is Limited Blade Works.
Yep. So
for that one, okay.
Yep.
Good. I qualified. That was a good one. Yeah. That was a good one. That like I did blah blah around in my head, and I was like, I just don't love it enough. But I would recommend it to anyone that's like, I want something entertaining and okay, and you don't want to sit through old animation.
Yeah, you're like
Limited Blade Works will probably do it for you.
Good story, good fights. Actually, like mature themes, make you think
because there's strategy to what they're doing.
So boom.
Yeah.
So that was my number 4. What's your number 4?
Number 4, Rurouni Kenshin.
Rurouni Kenshin. I feel like I've heard it, but it's not ringing a bell in my brain.
So in America, it also came over as Samurai X.
Samurai X.
Look at it. You'll see. I mean, once you see the face, let me tell you this. He has a cross-shaped scar on his...
Okay, let me see. Samurai X. The first thing that comes out is Samurai Champloo. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Thing with a light bulb above your head.
Just put that post.
Yeah. So Rurouni Kenshin is probably the... there's a new anime coming out, actually, too, called... and it's kind of related to Rurouni Kenshin. It's called The Blue Wolves of Shibuya or something like that. It's an anime. It's about samurais. Mm-hmm. So Rurouni Kenshin's about a samurai in the Edo period, who was an assassin that killed other shogun leaders to bring in the Meiji era, which is industrialization, machine guns, all that stuff, right?
Right.
So he was a government assassin that worked against the samurais by himself. He's also
so you have the traitor element to some degree within that.
Yes.
Okay.
And he fights against. So this is. I really wish they would go back in time and actually show him because they call him Batosai.
Batosai.
Which is they call him Batosai, and it translates to the manslayer. And he's a solo samurai, which is unheard of at that time, right? Because you're considered a wanderer. You're not part of a clan.
Mm-hmm.
He also, when he was Batosai the manslayer, he killed so many people that once the war was over and he helped bring in the new era, he vowed to never kill again, and that he would only use his sword to protect. So he ended up creating or getting a sword made that's known as a reverse blade sword. So the sword is blunt on the blade end.
So
yeah,
basically,
so,
our impromptu thing. We're gonna zoom in heavily right here.
How the blade's on this side?
Yeah.
Okay, so his is dull, like the back here, and then the blade's on the top.
Oh.
So there's this whole concept of he's so powerful that he can literally. Right, cut you on the backside. He could no, he won't die, but he'll really mess you up with this. But he's not killing you. But there's this scene, there's parts in the story that unfold, and there's times where he's psychologically he feels like he's going to become Batosai again. And there's one point where he's protecting this woman who he just obviously he loves her, and he's trying to protect her, and he flips the blade over, and he goes at and speeds the whole factor here, right? He goes at this enemy, and she calls him by his real name, which is Kenshin Kimura. Here's your sword back.
Thank you.
And he stops, and it's just crazy. The way the emotional weight and the psychological pressure that this anime puts on the audience is awesome.
Just drop it.
And then obviously it's an older anime, so it has that sense of quirky funniness to it. His face goes bubble and his eyes go big, and he's getting his she hits him in the head.
Yeah.
So you have this assassin. And she throws a brick at him, and he's dunk. And it's he's why'd you hit me? And she's hold the hang the clothes or whatever, Oh,
it's that scene where Goku's in Super Saiyan just chilling. Krillin's watch this, and just throws a rock at him.
And he's bam, yeah. He's why would you do that?
He's just I thought you dodged it. He's no. The Krillin's just oh, I feel so bad now.
Yeah. So, but the reason I like it, one, the story isn't fantastic. But the concept behind it's a true Edo period piece of work. Everything is Demon Slayer has that Edo-ish kind of time frame too.
We got a streaker.
Yeah, I know. This fly.
Shoot! Oh, I thought I hit it for a second. I'm not Jackie Chan.
I know.
It's so distracting.
It really is. I don't think you can see it on camera, but whatever. We got ignored, dude.
If we're just looking around, we're just going this. There's a fly. We're not. I didn't forget my meds today. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, why are they want the light, huh?
Well, you're not mosquitoes. Anyways.
So anyway, yeah. So that's a mosquito. So this piece of work is one of my favorite. Is in my top 9 because of that reason. The art style is great. It's almost Japan's known for watercolors.
Yeah.
It's almost like the whole backgrounds were done with watercolor. Okay,
that would be such a painstaking for the animators.
It gives because it was done before CGI.
Yeah.
Now they remade it, where they actually have with the CGI and the new animation and all that stuff, and it's good, but it's nowhere near the
level or the charm.
The charm. There you go. Of what the original one looks like and feels like. When you have a lantern with a watercolored black and blue background going through, they're on a boat, they're going through a river, and all you see is the ambient light, and it's that kind of artwork. It just, there's just something special about it, right? Whereas with a 3D animation, everything is the same ambiance, it's the same tone, right? Yeah, they make the background darker and all and whatever. But nothing is left to your imagination. Everything is there for a purpose, and they're telling you what to think. Versus I wonder what's in that shadow over there. Maybe there's a ninja, right?
Yeah.
Versus in the 3D animation, you're like, there's nothing there.
It's like it gives you your mind that space to just wander and just think, but what if?
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, there is no special powers here.
It's just
skill. There's no special powers. There's no chakra. There's no nothing. There's no energy blast.
No nen.
No nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, like a grenade, a homemade grenade that one of the assassins uses to try to because once the government finds out he's back in action and he's kind of stopping what these old warriors are trying to do. They're trying to bring back the old era, and so he has to try to stop them because it's affecting his current life. So he goes, he finds old rivals, and all he fights them and everything. He beats them to the point where they realize my time is over.
Yeah.
They have to either assimilate or die, and a lot of them just choose to die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that is the samurai way.
Yeah. Well, it's not just samurais. There's one character called Hanya. He has like Wolverine claws.
Oh, I think I might have seen clips of that.
Yeah, he has, he's a former ninja. They're called the Oniwaban group.
Oniwaban.
Yeah. One's a explosive specialist. If Kenshin gets hit by a bomb, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
It's not like he can
tank it.
Do a fire dance like how they do in Demon Slayer, and his magic fire dance is so powerful to say it's if he gets a bomb in front of him, he's dead. So that's why I like it, because it's the only realistic-ish anime for that era that I've ever known of, and I've looked for other versions of it, and there are some Samurai X, or not Samurai X, but there's
Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, Samurai Champloo, and then there's other samurai, but they're just not.
They don't find that one particular.
They don't hit the mark with the Japanese. How can I put this? Culture. They're a little too. They're different. They try to be too different, and that's why. So, but it's a great story. It's not a long watch. I think the total episode count is 40.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. And it makes you want more when they're done. You're like, man, what happened? Or not what happened, but what happens next?
It has that just thirst where you're like, okay, I want to have more.
And he's such an original character, dude. He's such an original character. He's a samurai. You can make a samurai for any character, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he has this alternate ego, kind of where he becomes an assassin, his whole aura, his demeanor, and I don't know how they do it on animation, but they make it look like he's a completely different character without changing his appearance. Goku, he's a different character or in a different mindset when he's transforming. You know? So he means business now. But with this guy, he's not. His hair's not changing. He's not this and that. It's literally just his demeanor.
Just his presence.
Yes,
that he is.
It's so good. It's so good, dude. He has red hair. Who has red hair in Japan? It's just unique. And it's not over the top, blown up, Super Saiyan God red hair.
No.
It's just he's like a ginger, and then the whole concept of having the blade on the back of the sword versus the front. It just tells you a whole story in itself. He knows he's such a good killer that he has to limit himself, or he will kill you.
And at the same time, it's just as well with the single side blade. It's that's what you could use to protect yours. So it's to be able to absorb more blows by putting your hand on it. It's just you can't even do that. It's only just the hilt.
Yeah, it's just the hilt, and and he's smart. So the way he fights is he's not going to overpower everybody. He's extremely fast, right? Extremely fast. But there's characters he fights who, if they caught him, they crush him, right? So he knows he can't go hand to hand with everybody. So there's one guy who I guess he throws around like an iron ball, so he's massive.
Yeah.
And he gives him a hard time because he's hitting this guy in his vital spots, and he's not feeling it. He's just a solid ball of muscle. So what does he do? He goes for his knuckles, his joints,
so that
he completely destroys his hands, right? And then he goes, "You'll never fight again." And then he's sitting there, this big old huge buff meatball, just crying, just like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then he walks away, and it's like, that's it.
Okay.
And you're just left to see, like, you're just thinking, like, what happened to that? Like he's broken. Like, his hands don't work. What is he gonna do? Like,
just defeated.
That's it.
Done.
Like, it's up to your imagination at that point. You know.
I definitely do have to give that a watch.
It's good.
Okay, there's a flyer here. I'm going to try this technique where you go up.
Oh, I got it!
Sorry, super loud. I got it. I learned this thing where it's just like, to kill a fly, like if it's landing anywhere, you don't go in, you go up, and you're able to like clip it. Boom.
You got it. Okay,
so that was your number 4.
Yeah.
My number 7. This is gonna be very, very brief. This is just pure emotional attachment. Is Nisekoi. You've probably never heard of this before.
No.
Nisekoi is a rom-com that came out in like 2014. Main premise is it's called Nisekoi Fake Love, which in its title, it kind of tells you like what it's going to be about. There's this guy, I'm trying to remember his name. His family's a part of the Yakuza in Japan. It's a rom-com, so it's not like super, super serious.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, you're going to take over, you're going to be the boss. He's like, no, I want to be a chef or something like that. And so in the background, you know that the Yakuza are like having trouble with like a different gang. While he's at school, this new transfer student comes over. She's like half Japanese, half American, named Chitoge. I had another huge crush on that character because she's another tsundere. Basically, if they're tsundere, I like that character type, archetype. But like they haven't interact, they hate each other off the bat. Come to find out, their families are both the gangs that are fighting each other. So like, okay, we need peace. So while you guys are at high school, you're going to pretend to be in a relationship. So they're like, why? And like to bring peace, it's like, can't we tell the group? It's just like, no, the group will not know. Only us 4 will know because we need peace. I'm just like, that was kind of funny. So I just watched it because I love rom-com, romance, and all that kind of stuff. It's nothing like groundbreaking. The character development isn't like the greatest. To be honest, it's pretty damn mid. The only reason why I have it on this list and it is so special to me is it was the first manga I ever completed.
Oh.
It's 25 volumes. I remember going to the shop, because this is when I lived in England. I would just go to the shop and just be like, hey, did you guys get this order in yet? And like, no, we haven't gotten it in yet. So I would go in week after week after week after like ordering all these books and just waiting for it to come in and just reading it. And the ending is how I expected it to be, because it's just like, that's how most rom-coms go. It's just like, oh yeah, you have the main love interest, and then you have the side love interest, who's like the childhood best friend, and then like the rest of the harem, and you're just like, oh, who is he gonna pick? And it's just like, well, we all know who he's gonna pick eventually, because how tropes go. But I loved it because it was such a fun story that I'm like, oh, this is fun, this is enjoyable. And I, as you can see, like I love collecting manga, so having a first ever series done, I was like, that's always been special. And honestly, now that I look at it, like that's the only reason why it actually made it onto this list. It's probably going to be like even worse than Naruto. It's probably just going to drop off after maybe like 2 more years. It was just one of the first things that came to mind, because my list is based off emotion.
Okay.
Like mainly it's for like that emotional connection. As of recent,
which changes over time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And as of recent, it's been like, okay, I actually like delve into anime, and it's like challenged me as I am. So like this is probably gonna shift in like 6 months. But that's my number 7. What do you guys?
So something for me that I didn't explain is that what I base mine on. So mine's based on creativity, original design. So like how original is the concept or the anime itself? Like, is it similar to something else that came before it? Which it all is in a way, but how original is it in the creativeness of the world, right? 3 is, did I already say the animation itself? Like the animation, like the artwork and all that?
I think you were alluding to it, but not specifically.
So yeah, the artwork, style and everything like that. And then just the overall, from beginning to end, like what is the message, right? So now maybe that ties in a little bit more of what I originally had said for the last 2.
And that's why our lists are going to be varying differently.
Yeah, different. Even though, which is funny that we have 2 different, but the thing is Naruto means something to you because you remember being in the corner watching it, so that's why. But anyway, so I'll continue. My number 7 is actually a movie, an anime movie, which is Ghost in the Shell.
Ooh, Ghost in the Shell, what people would consider as one of the like have to see in regards to anime. Like anime fans are like, yes, we've seen it. Even though there was a remake with Scarlett Johansson, it's just like no. this is like
that dude. I didn't even click on it to give him credit for that, dude. Like I didn't like no way. Like
you're like no, they're not gonna do this right.
I'm not even. I don't associate any live action Ghost in the Shell with the actual movie. But, I mean, with the actual animated movie.
So with something of this like standard, number 7 on the list. Still pretty damn impressive for the amount of that you've watched. Mm-hmm. It's just like Ghost in the Shell. What has it there?
So Ghost in the Shell because one, it's such an original piece of work. I don't know if you guys know this or anyone else does, but it's probably not probably it is the main reason the movie The Matrix got made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Ghost in the Shell is this whole concept of the world. We're in the future. The world is becoming extremely technologically advanced and cybernetic. People have enhancements in their bodies. There's AI involved, right? Which is kind of what we're leading to right now at this moment.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
So, but this individual, I haven't watched it in a long time, and it's funny because the only reason I watched it back in probably like, dude, our computers still looked like TVs back then.
Oh, the beefy ones.
Yeah, the IBMs. My uncle, he had a picture of the main character and the scenery as his screensaver, and I was like, and I didn't know it was anime, right? I like Dragon Ball Z, I like Pokemon, I like different stuff like that, and I went, what is that, uncle? Right? And he or Nino, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh, it's a movie. You want to watch it? I have it. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, okay. He puts it in, and I'm thinking like, I'm little here. Like this thing, like she shows up naked, like there's blood, like she's a cyborg. You know what I mean? Like she has, and then so she has the plug in the back of the neck, mm-hmm. just like Matrix does. So Matrix got that idea
probably inspired, yeah,
from Ghost in the Shell.
No Wachowskis.
Ghost in the Shell means there's a ghost in the machine. The ghost in the machine it gets out as an AI and is wreaking havoc on a bunch of stuff. And the humans are blaming the machines for what's going on, and the machines are like, no, this and that. But she's an assassin. Right, and I don't remember everything. I probably should watch it again because I'm really interested in like how would it hold up today. Yeah. Right, and they did a bunch of like alternate like universes for Ghost in the Shell, like not universes but alternate storylines. Mm-hmm. Like they kept it going, and there's new animations for it and all that. But I'm talking about the original Ghost in the Shell movie. She has, and this was a completely foreign concept at the time when it came out. There's this scene. It's epic, and it's like world known, and everyone knows the scene. If you've probably seen it, you don't even know what it is. But she's falling off of the skyscraper. Yeah. Right, and she just goes camo or invisible mode, right? And you're like, I need to watch this. What is this? Like you're just like, And then they use weapons, right? They use guns. There's a sense of realism there. She's not shooting, lasers from her eyes and stuff like that. Like most cyborgs are designed back in that time. It was like, no, this is a humanoid robot. Like even it kind of gives Terminator vibes a little bit. Okay. A little. Like when I think about it, Terminator probably came out before Ghost in the Shell. And they probably went,
this might be interesting.
Maybe they got a little bit of inspiration from Terminator because Terminator is an original work. Like I don't care what people say about it and Schwarzenegger and his horrible acting, but Terminator is a goated franchise, dude. Like it's unique. It's good. Yeah. It's good. It's an entertaining watch. So yeah, Ghost in the Shell because of all the reasons I said. Creative. I didn't even talk about the art, but the art behind it, it's just you see this steampunk world it's like steampunk-ish world, mm-hmm. right? But with like postmodernism, decrepit old like what we currently have now is like falling apart, and they're like kind of like fusing it with like new tech, so it's kind of like a steampunk Neo Tokyo almost, or cyberpunk Neo Tokyo. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That world. Like let me pull up this. I'll show this to you real quick.
Don't worry. For everybody that's just like, oh, I haven't seen it, we've probably put footage of it so far.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like Neo Tokyo is just a vibe in itself, honestly.
And yeah, Akira is the one that started that.
Yep. Dude, the amount of work that went into Akira, again, hand drawn when they have the I don't know if it's ray tracing, like the traces of the light of the brake lights as it's going through, just all the lights when it was like animated, and this is all hand drawn. You're just like, they just absolutely decided to be like, we are going to make a film that is going to stand the test.
Yeah.
No matter.
I'm trying to find a good
picture of it.
Yeah, like without her like half naked, because that's like obviously the hook. So this is one of them when she's like hooked up to like the system.
Oh, okay.
See?
Yeah.
So there's that. And then let me show you the world. So see, look, and then this is one of the movie like title covers with the gun and everything.
Yep, I've seen that one before.
And then let's see here.
And I'll probably have to cut because I'm about to get grounded actually.
You good, man? We got you.
So I'm just like, okay, then we'll come back to.
No, we're good. I'm done on that one. But let me just show you this. Here, right here. Look at the background for like the city.
Oh, that is beautiful.
See? So that's good movie, dude. So that's what we got.
That's what we got. So we are going to column 2, but you're probably going to see an outfit change because it is past curfew, and I gotta get to somewhere.
Past his curfew.
Past my curfew. Well, I'll just like get home now, and I'm like, fair enough. Okay, I'll get home. So for us, it's probably going to be a few days, and for you guys, it's probably going to be a few seconds because